I'm Liao and welcome to Online. Today we're going to talk about power. In this day and age of technology advancement, how much power are we really consuming? Is it possible to save energy and be efficient at the same time? It's all about the what, why, and how of energy management. And to help us explain all this, we're very fortunate to have with us the Executive Vice President, Power Business Asia Pacific member of the Executive Committee of Schneider Electric, Mr. Eric Rondolat. Eric, welcome to Online.
Thanks, Jerry.
Okay, for starters, I would like to ask you, can you give us an idea how much power are we really consuming right now, and how much power are we going to consume, let's say, in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, I think, Jerry, we need to take a bit more perspective than that. And let's talk about energy in general.
Okay.
So what we can say at this point in time is that if you look at the horizon of 2050, we believe that the world is going to be consuming 2 times the energy that it is consuming now.
Okay. So if this is going to be an ongoing trend, are we going to face some problems if ever we don't conserve energy? Are we going to face some problems in the future?
Yeah, of course, because you have to take into account 2 things. First, 2 times today consumption is a huge increase on such a small time.
Okay.
And at the same time, you know that we have objectives to reduce CO2 emissions. So this is what we call the energy dilemma, because it is basically impossible if we continue to do the things and if we continue to consume energy the way we consume energy today, it's going to be totally impossible.
Is it safe to say that we might face some power shortage in the future? And also to add to that, you also have a population explosion going on. So what's the relation of these two?
They're pretty much interrelated. Okay. So first of all, it's not that we are going to face power shortages. We are facing power shortages today. And if we look at the worldwide security of supply, it is not at this point in time ensured. So we have an issue already today about security of supply. Now, if you talk about the total population in the world, 6 billion inhabitants today, when we move to the 8 billion population, which means 1.8 billion people more in urbanization. And at the same time, if you take also another look at it, we have 2 billion people today that have access, a decent access to energy. And in the same time frame, we're talking about doubling that, going to 4 billion.
You did mention carbon emission a while ago. A lot of discussion has been made also with regards to climate change. I would like to ask you, how bad is it right now? Where are we right now?
Well, if you look, and I don't have the details and the numbers so that we could see that, but probably the world is going to be doing in 30 years what it has been experiencing in 5 decades.
So we've discussed briefly the problems. Let's talk about the solution.
Sure.
So we have energy management. So briefly, I would like to ask you, what is energy management?
Well, energy management is a proposal that we are doing, because if you look at Schneider Electric, basically our mission is to have our 5 businesses providing a promise in terms of energy management to our customers. Basically, energy management is how to consume less while doing more. Let's imagine that we are together in a room and we're working, and we can regulate and automate the lighting, the shutters, and the air conditioning, so that the light in the room is permanently optimized, so that the temperature is always controlled. And playing with the shutters, you let more or less light inside the room, more or less heat inside the room, which help you optimize your global energy equation.
And all these are done automatically and intelligently.
And that's the objective. The objective is not to have to do that manually, because when we do that manually,
it's difficult.
It's difficult to permanently optimize and change things. So when you do that automatically, you show that it's permanently optimized.
Right. Okay, I would like to ask you this question with regards to energy management. How does it differ with renewable energy and green energy? Is there any difference about this?
Well, I think it's linked also to the notion of consuming less of the resources of our world. What we need to understand also is that there is, we believed, in the past that the resources were infinite. And I think, with the huge development that we've experienced in the past years, now we understand that the resources of our planet are limited. So how can we continue on providing energy if our resources are limited? And then we have the notions of renewables that come into place, and they're probably going to play a very important role in the future in terms of balancing the energy generation equation.
Well, I guess one of the main objectives here also is to cut down the carbon emission. But I would like to ask you, is carbon neutral or zero carbon really achievable?
I think it's a matter of time.
It's a matter of time.
If you tell me, is it achievable right now? Probably not.
Okay.
But we are developing the ad hoc solutions to make it sustainable and to make it probably possible in the future. But it will come not only from technology, it will also come from a change of habits.
Okay.
So the technology is an enabler, but probably that to be able to complete the full carbon neutral promise, we will have also to change our habits.
So there will be a lot of transformations needed to be able to achieve this?
Probably.
Okay. So what can you say would be the energy strategy for the future? What's the most ideal?
Globally?
Yes.
Oh, that's an interesting and a very wide question. I think, when we look at energy, we are absolutely convinced of something, that you can always produce more.
Okay.
But the strategy for us is to consume less. Okay. 1 unit of energy consumed here in that room is asking for 3 units to be produced in the generation plant. It so happens that our process in terms of generation down to consumption is not that efficient because you have to produce 3 to consume and to deliver 1 at the consuming point. But this has a very interesting consequence. If you save 1 at the consumption point, you save 3
right.
at the generation level.
Right.
So in terms of strategy, our strong belief is that let's not focus so much on producing more. Let's start to focus on consuming less.
Okay. Then eventually the equation will follow.
Yeah, because let's imagine that you consume 20% or 30% less, which is normally the average ratio that we can achieve when we implement our solutions. When we implement our solutions in any type of application, generally we save something like 30% of the energy consumption. Well, if you do that, that's a big saving upstream.
Right, right. Okay, I would like to ask you, what is the difference between energy efficiency and being energy effective? Is there any difference?
Well, if we take the semantic of the world, I would say that energy efficiency is describing the phenomena and energy effective is doing it.
Okay. So my last question for this segment, they say good energy management is good business. How is this so?
Energy management is a unique promise today that can help to achieve 2 goals. The first one is to help the world to be a more sustainable one. For Schneider Electric, this is extremely important. At our humble level, we believe that we have also a mission, which is to try to contribute to bring solution to the energy dilemma I was stating before. We really, truly believe in this. And at the same time, as you are a better citizen, it's much better for your wallet.
Yes.
Because when you put in place energy efficiency solutions, when you solve your energy equation and you consume less, it's good for your pocket because you do saving, and savings are tangible.
Let's hold on that thought. We'll just take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about smart grid. We're still with Eric here, so don't go away. Online, we'll be right back. In as far as the Philippines is concerned, where are we in the smart grid technology? And how far are we compared to our Asian neighbors?